back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Leah, and this is my channel where I talk about all things health, fitness, and lifestyle related. So if any of that sounds like it might be interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button below. It really helps out my channel. But if you want to wait to the end of the video to see what I'm all about, that's okay too. I totally understand. So today we are talking about mental health. And I know this is not something that I have covered thus far very extensively on my channel, but it is something that is incredibly important to me personally and also professionally as a yoga teacher, because a lot of people, including myself, use yoga for mental health and as a stress reliever. So what is it? I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and the girl in the video, she mentioned no contact Sundays, and I was like, I've never heard of that. Why have I never implemented that for myself? It sounds heavenly. And the whole gist behind it is that you don't have any contact. So that means no texts, no phone calls, no emails, no anything. So for me personally, I put my phone on airplane mode. I put my Apple Watch on airplane mode. I didn't even pick up my phone for the day. I was like, it was kind of a challenge to myself. I was like, can I go the whole day without picking up my phone? And I'm gonna save to the end to tell you guys what I figured out, what my experience was like. But I more so want to tell you right now why I chose to do this. Because you might be thinking like, why do I need to do this, right? And so my kind of thought process behind this was, I am a very empathetic person. I'm a very giving person. I give a lot of myself to other people. I'm also an entrepreneur. I work from home. So there is no off switch. It is basically 24 hours a day. I'm giving myself 24 hours a day to work, to other people, and it was really hard for me to find any kind of time for myself and to do things that I want to do. Sunday was just another day to get ahead for me. So whether that meant like answering calls or texts or whatever, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be there for the people that you love, but you can't, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, like, you can't pour from an empty glass or something to that extent, right? If you're not full, you can't pour into other people. So self-care is extremely important. And I know that's a very like buzzwordy thing, the self-care, and this is the huge part now that I'm going to implement into my own self-care, because that means taking care of your energy too. People tend to think that we can just create this boundless amount of energy in us and we can drink coffee and we can do all these things and we can just go forever like the Energizer Bunny, and that's just not realistic. You will eventually run out of steam, and then it's gonna come out maybe in some ugly kind of way that you don't want it to. So that is kind of why I chose to do this, because I was like, you know what, realistically, nobody needs to have access to me 24/7. Except my husband, but he lives here. So he doesn't need to call me, he doesn't need to text me and all these other things. So of course I told my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my sister, I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. If you need to get a hold of me, there's an emergency, call my husband's phone. You know, he's not gonna do this. He doesn't need to do this because he's good at setting boundaries. However, I'm not the greatest at setting boundaries, and I've been working on that for the past year. And this is just another step on my ladder to setting boundaries, preserving my energy to make myself feel better. So with all of that being said, now that you have the background of what it is, why I decided to do it, I want to tell you guys about my experience a little bit and kind of what I have discovered. So it was really nice waking up on a Sunday. I still set my alarm. Actually, did I set my alarm? I didn't set my alarm. I didn't want to be told what to do. And anybody who knows me personally knows I hate being told what to do. It's like my ultimate pet peeve. But I'm like, okay, Sunday is me day, right? I get to do whatever I want, so I'm not gonna set an alarm. But I still woke up around like 8 a.m. And I was like, okay, I have no phone, so I'm not going to sit in bed for 30 minutes, an hour and a half. Yeah, some days an hour and a half, dude. Scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I'm like, I don't have my phone. Okay, so I get out of bed, I make my bed, I usually every other morning, well, here recently, I try to meditate in the morning. So I'll get up in the morning and that's the first thing I go do is meditate. But I didn't want to pick up my phone and I use a timer on my phone. And then I was like, well, I could meditate without a timer. But then the whole time I'm just sitting there like, I wonder how long it's been. Has it been long enough? You know, and you can't, it's not the right mind space for meditating. So I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I don't really know. And I ended up actually not meditating that day, but I came up with a solution to that I figured out later on my Apple Watch, that even on airplane mode, I can still use the timer on here. So that's what I'm going to do next Sunday. But anyway, I digress. I get out of bed, I make my bed, I do my thing, I eat my breakfast. And I didn't limit myself to not watching TV. And here's why. Because typically when I watch TV, this is how I watch TV. And I guarantee you a lot of you also watch TV like this, right? You watch TV, but you're also doing this the whole time. So you're like half watching TV and half on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever your drug choice is, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm still going to allow myself to watch TV if I want to watch TV, or, you know, I'll read a book. If I want to go hiking, I'll go hiking. If I want to take the dogs on a walk, I'll take the dogs on a walk. Whatever it is I want to feel like doing that day. Here's what I ended up doing, okay? Are you ready? It's not that revolutionary, but it's obviously something that I needed. So I sat on the couch and I'm eating my breakfast, and I eat my breakfast, and I was watching Discovery Channel. And for a good part of the day, I'm talking a few hours, y'all, I watched Discovery Channel, and I kind of went in and out of naps all day. Obviously, it's what I needed, okay? So some people might be like, that's not any better than being on your phone. Is it though? So when I went to my yoga teacher training, we had a philosophy teacher while I was there. And the philosophy teacher told us, he said that multitasking is the worst thing you can do for your brain. He said multitasking is like mutilation for your brain, and that we do it to ourselves all the time. You know, when you brush your teeth, are you really thinking about brushing your teeth? Probably not. You're thinking about other things, or you're even doing other things. Sometimes I will turn on YouTube videos while I brush my teeth and get ready in the morning. So I'm like the queen of multitasking. And obviously my brain is just like all the time, right? My brain's just like, I gotta get out of here. And has nowhere to go. So I did that for a little bit. And then even when I was in and out of my naps, when the commercials would come on, I was looking for my phone to check my phone during these kind of like down times. And the anxiety that I felt whilst looking for my phone, I was like, this is not normal. This is not normal. This is not okay. This just proves to me even more that I need to be doing something like this, right? So after I had spent a good time actually relaxing, y'all, that is probably the first time in a while, as somebody that has anxiety, depression, and other mental health problems, which if y'all want a video on that, I would be happy to share. I'm not going to share everything with y'all, but share a little bit of my experience with mental health. I would love to share that with you. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please, mention that below in the comments or message me privately, and I will be happy to share a little bit more of my mental health journey with y'all. But anyway, it's very hard for me, because of past experiences, to sit on the couch and just relax and enjoy myself. So this was the first time in forever that I actually sat on the couch and relaxed. And I think that's kind of why I was in and out of a nap state, because I was like fully relaxed. And once I was done with that and my body felt recharged, I legitimately felt recharged. I was just like, okay, time to get up, time to do other stuff. I cleaned my house. I got caught up on all my laundry, including folding. And if any of you are like me and you hate folding laundry, you know what an accomplishment that is. So I was just like, okay, I am getting ahead, right? Then I found myself kind of going through the day, instead of multitasking and just feeling like I was a boat being tossed around by the waves, like I feel on a normal day, I felt like, okay, accomplished, accomplished, accomplished. What do I want to do next? And whether that was laying on the couch watching TV or actually getting stuff done, I had the power to choose. There was no outside force kind of like tossing me around like this all day. And so I actually got things done. I relaxed. I also got things done around my house, even to the point where I had this like hoard of stuff that I was keeping in my guest room closet that I have been needing to take to Goodwill. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it all out. I'm going to take it all out today. And then the following, I like put it all in a little pile. And then the following day I loaded up in my car and I took it to Goodwill. That was yesterday. Yeah. So my point here, I'm getting to a point. Sorry. Again, I digress. I'm one of those people that tells like 5 stories within one story. So if you're here, you're just going to have to get used to it. I try to edit it out so it's not boring for y'all. But anyway, my point here is that I was able to take this day and do whatever it was I wanted to do, whether that was relaxing, whether that was being productive. It was whatever the heck I wanted to do. And how often, like, be honest with yourself, do you really just get to do whatever the heck it is you want to do? Probably not super often, because we have expectations from our careers, we have expectations from our families, we have expectations from our significant others, whatever it is. There's all these outside factors that we don't ever get to just be like, especially now with social media and stuff, it's just like constant barrage of just like, in your eyes and your ears, it's just like constant information being pumped into us, and we never get that chance to just like be by ourselves. So it's like, how do you have me time in a society with social media? And I think a lot of people might possibly struggle with that idea. So what I found by doing this is that I actually, and I wasn't really sure how it was going to go, because I'll be honest with you, I am highly addicted, obviously, to social media, my phone, just like, it's my little safety blanket, right? And so I wasn't sure how I was going to feel going through this process. And I'll tell you what, like I told you guys earlier, I have not felt this relaxed in a long time. So if you find yourself having, it can even just be like normal run-of-the-mill anxiety, normal run-of-the-mill sadness, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything as extreme as like what I deal with or what some other people might deal with. I really challenge you to disconnect yourself from all of the noise and kind of go inward and just spend a little bit of time by yourself. And again, like, you don't have to sit at home and watch Discovery Channel for hours and take a nap. That's just what I decided to do that day. That doesn't mean I'm going to do that every Sunday either. It literally can be whatever you want to do without that distraction. And again, if you have kids, maybe this would be a good thing. So you're not on your devices, your kids aren't on their devices, and you go play outside, or you go for a hike, or you go, do whatever. It's summertime, so I don't know if you got a beach, or here in San Antonio, we got the river. Just having that disconnection made me feel more connected. It made me feel more connected to myself. And then later that day, when I'm laying on the couch with my husband and I'm not on my phone, he got on his phone. And I looked at him and I said, babe, I love you, but I'm not looking at my phone. I don't want to look at your phone either. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. And he put his phone away. And so it helps you not only connect with yourself, but connect with others too, without that distraction. I feel like so many of us are just living in this world with distraction, and we're not fully connecting with ourselves and not fully connecting with our loved ones. That's gonna be weird to edit out. So I liked doing this so much that I decided that it wasn't good enough just to do it on Sundays. So I still haven't decided quite yet whether or not it's going to be 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., but somewhere around that time period, I'm gonna like nail down on like a more precise time. Last night, 6 p.m. really snuck up on me, and I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. So then I decided that 7 was a good time, but I'm thinking 6 might be better. We'll see. Because I do a lot of my work in the afternoons because I take the mornings for myself, which that might sound really selfish. I'm like, the mornings are for myself and also after 6 p.m. So you get like the tiniest bit of window. But you know what? Self-preservation, baby. You gotta do what you gotta do. But anyway, so I liked it so much that I was like, okay, I'm going to carry this into every other day. And also, you know, a lot of studies have shown this too, that we spend too much time on our phone, like right before we go to sleep. And it is a big culprit of insomnia and other things, and like not being restless and not being able to sleep very well and those kind of things. So, and I'm somebody who struggles with mental health, but also struggles with those things as well. It's just a package deal. You know, when you're dealing with one, you're typically dealing with the other. So I was like, okay, instead of scrolling through my phone at night, I'm gonna read a book if I'm not ready to go to bed. And it's really funny because my husband is much more perceptive and open to me reading a book before I go to sleep than scrolling through my phone, because he would be annoyed and be like, hey man, it's time to go to bed. And I'm like, I'm not tired yet. You know, and I turn to him and say, I'm not tired yet, I want to read 10 pages of my book. He's like, oh, okay, cool. You know, so now I have started, no, to be fair, I only started this past Sunday. It's Tuesday. But I still wanted to share this with you guys because, God bless, because this is something I'm like, man, it's new, but I'm like, this is something I want to keep implementing into my life. So at 6 or 7 p.m. every day, I'm going to turn my phone on airplane mode. I learned my lesson last night because I turned my phone on airplane mode at 7 p.m., right? And then at 10 p.m., right before I went to sleep, I was like, let me take it off airplane mode because I'm going to sleep. But then when I took it off airplane mode, it was like ding, 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 text. And it's like, of course, you have your phone on all day and nobody wants to talk to you, but then you turn your phone off for a few hours and then everybody wants to talk to you. That's how it always works, right? When you're trying to take a nap or something. But anyway, I learned my lesson with that when I turned on my phone, and I was like, oh, okay, so clearly I need to turn it off at 7 p.m. and then the next day. And I know some people, and this is some of the objections that I've had from my family as well, not my husband, but like my family. They've been like, well, what if we can't get a hold of you? What if there's an emergency? Well, I keep my phone on silent at night anyway. So just recently, my father had a heart attack and I didn't find out about it until I woke up because I keep my phone on silent. And even then I thought to myself, shoot, like, should I not keep my phone on silent because I need to be in the know? But realistically, it's kind of upsetting because I had a voicemail from my dad before he went in to open heart surgery, and he was like, this was supposed to be a happy video, and my dad's fine, in case you guys are wondering. But he left me a voicemail and he was like, I just want to tell you I love you, blah, 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 whatever. And so I had that voicemail. And again, my dad came out fine, but this is the things where it's like, okay, if I keep my phone off for a whole day, am I gonna miss things like this, you know? And that's why I made sure to tell my family. I kind of tried to find a loophole for those kind of things where I'm like, if there is an emergency, try to call me and also try to call my husband, you know, because he checks his phone at least like once an hour. So I get why people might have arguments against this, but I also want to point out that if anybody in your life is, my family wasn't like really pushy against it. I'm just throwing it out there that if you do have anybody that is super, super like, I should be able to call you 24/7 or get a hold of you anytime I want to. I heard something recently, and I'm sure it's been said many times before, the only people who have a problem when you start to set boundaries, and I'm paraphrasing here, the only people that have issues with you setting boundaries are the people that were benefiting from you having none. I see it as my family, the people that are closest to me, they understand, you know, even my husband said, I know why you need to do something like this. And he even said, I think this would be good for you because I am a person who gives so much of myself to other people, which is why I've been working on those boundaries, baby. It's a rough, tough road. If you're a fellow empath, you know what I mean. There's obviously a happy middle ground. You don't want to be selfish. You don't want to be a doormat. This is like the perpetual tug of war of my life. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So you have to like find that middle ground where you set boundaries where you're like, okay, this works for me. I'm also available for other people during this window. I'm not completely cutting myself off from the world. You know, I'm not telling you to throw your phone out the window of your car and drive off into the sunset. That's not what I'm telling you at all. But I think some healthy boundaries, whatever that might look like for you, maybe it's just one day of the week. Maybe it's not looking at your phone after 10 p.m. So that you can sleep better. You know, whatever works for you. Take this idea and then mesh it into whatever works for you. I hope that this little tip or this little, again, it's not even my own, this little like hack or whatever you want to call it, the solo Sundays, the no contact Sunday, I don't even know, what would you call the nighttime thing? You know, just setting some boundaries with your digital availability, I think would be healthy for all of us. So if you're gonna try it, I would love to hear from you guys, like how it works out for you, or if you have any ideas to add to it, or how you're gonna implement it into your life. I love to learn anything mental health related. I literally am just always trying to learn new tips and tricks and whatever to find new things that might work. So I would love to hear any of that in the comments below. And I will see y'all next time. Okay, bye-bye.